Welcome to a new month. We are officially in August. I'm recording this on August 1st. And let's talk about some highlights for the month of August, some astrological highlights. I'm not going to go too deep into details because a lot of these things I'm going to make a special episode for them to break them down. I like to tackle astrology in bite size because otherwise it can be so overwhelming. Also, I want to say that first of all, I want to ask you, how was your last month? How, if you're listening to this in the current time, last month for you would have been July. How was July for you? Let me know in the comments. Leave me comments. Leave me a review. Of course, if you're gonna leave a review, do leave a 5 star and then leave your comments. And I don't know. I'm always curious. I want to know, what are you experiencing? Because this is amazing. I love recording this, but it also just feels like talking to myself all the time, and it's amazing to get response from you guys. So I wanted to say that because I want to be mindful. I know we don't all have the same experience. However, I do feel that July was a little bit more was I feel like we had a breather compared to, I'm like, Stephanie, I don't know what you're talking about. Wait, hold up. Let's hold the horses for a second. I'm not saying it was easy month. I'm just saying compared to the training and the crazy psycho time we had in March. Remember back in March? I feel like I'm gonna be referring to March of 2026 for the next 100 million years because this month was intense. Okay, it was intense. Remember March when we had the six, it was supposed to be 6 or 7. Who was counting? I feel like it was 100 planets, okay, that were all moving into Aries. Remember that time? When so many of them were leaving the water territories of Pisces or wherever they were coming from and moving into Aries all at the same time. That energy was very, very intense. And then April, May. For me, March, April, May were absolutely insane. So June was like still insane too, but July was the first time I felt like, oh my goodness, I'm finally catching a breath. I can breathe for a second here. And and I really do feel like August is, well, I want to say that, but at the same time, I'm mincing my words because the big highlight of August, I have my notes here, are the eclipse seasons. Eclipse can be quite intense, I'm not gonna lie, but I feel like it's a different type of intensity. So there's that. Besides that, I feel like it's a month that is still mellow. Again, we're not saying it's easy. We're saying in comparison to where we came from, it is mellow. And also, there's a reason for that. Is because the reason why it was intense in March, April, May, it's because all of the big outer planets like Uranus, Pluto, Neptune, and a lot of other planets, also even Chiron, were changing signs. But now many of them are going retrograde. But the rule tend to be the last degree of the signs. I mean, meaning when they're leaving a sign and when they're entering a new sign, tend to be the most hectic. Think about you when you moving, right? That time when you move, have to pack up all your things the last few days, and then that moving day, and then when you come into the house where everything is upside down, this is very intense. And as time goes by, the energy settles a little bit. It's the same thing. And I was thinking about that because I recently helped a family member moved and it was very fresh in my mind. So what we call as the moving in is the first 3 degrees. So when, let's say, Uranus moves into Gemini, when it's in Gemini at 0 degree, when it's at 1 degree, when it's at 2 and 3 degree, it tends to be very chaotic because it's the beginning of we don't know that new energy yet, and then the planet is getting situated. So that's why March, April, May were really intense because we were dealing with that sort of energy. Now, even if the planets are going retrograde, many of them, I have to double check, but many of them not, it's still not quite the same because we've already experienced that first pass. Yes, second pass can still be intense, but we were already jolted into the intensity already. Anyways, without too much digressing, so let's move in. August 3rd, we do have Chiron retrograding. Like I said, I'm gonna record another episode on that because I just don't want to mix it up now. And then we do have August 5th, which is the last quarter moon in Taurus. And in August 6th, we have Venus enters Libra. Now, I am quite excited about Venus entering Libra because Venus was in the sign of Virgo, which is where it is fallen. One second. So Venus was in the sign of Virgo where it is fallen. And it isn't like being in Virgo. Every planet has a sign where they're doing amazing and other signs where they're not really doing that. They don't really like it's not their favorite place to hang out. And nothing wrong with Virgo. It's just not Venus's vibe, okay? And what does that mean for us? Because I don't want to talk in astrological lingo. What that means for us is that Venus in Virgo was a little bit intense is because Virgo tends to be very critical and very into like the minor details. So thank you. It was very, if you notice yourself being super critical, that could have had a big impact on that because that is the energy of Venus being in Virgo. When you have Virgo, which is all about the minute details, it's about really making sure everything is okay. We are zooming in. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, but Mercury also rules Gemini, but they're two different energy. Gemini is just like downloading all the information, spreading all the information. And Virgo is more like this. You can imagine, I like to think about this accountant going through, or not accountant, when you're selling a house, these people who come to inspect with their magnifier glasses and they're really looking for defect, they're making sure everything works great. That's the Virgo energy. And Venus being all about opulence and let's just say Venus doesn't really quite like this energy too much. So in our life, that might have been shown through all of a sudden you really dissecting your relationship, you seeing everything that's wrong with everything and everybody. So all this to say, I'm actually really excited to have Venus enter Libra because Venus is at home in Libra. Venus is the ruler of Libra and Taurus. Venus likes being in Libra. And Libra being the sign of balance and beauty and making sure everything is in our harmony. Venus is at home. So I feel like we could really use that beautiful energy coming up. Again, there's no good or bad, but it's just different. And then in August 9, we do have Mercury enters Leo. That is something that I'm quite excited about. Also, Mercury was in Cancer. Mercury doesn't really, it's not his favorite place to be in Cancer. Cancer is very emotional. I feel like you might really notice the difference. I know I'm already feeling the difference as Mercury is moving along Cancer, slowly making its way to the next sign in Leo. It's because Mercury is Cancer. If you found that communication was very difficult with family members, or things were very emotional but not quite, or just emotional and uncomfortable, because Mercury did go retrograde in Cancer and it pretty much forced us to sit in that emotion. And many of us are like, all right, that was amazing. We're ready for something new now. I know I am. So, Mercury enters Leo. Leo is all about, I've literally recorded something about Leo. Do check that out because Leo is the energy of creativity, taking space, being authentic, joy. Yes, can be out of hand and be self centered and eccentric in all the wrong ways, but we know those shadows so that we don't go there, but then we use the energy instead of letting the energy use us. So I'm excited for that. And then we do have on August 11th, Mars enters Cancer. Well, I mean, Mars is a fiery sign. Think about it again. Fire and water, they don't quite mix well. So just be aware of that. I'll probably make another episode on that. But Mars in Cancer it's not necessarily its favorite place. And we can see why. So be careful about that. Mars is our ambition, it's our action. So you might have to be a bit more aware, bit more, put a bit more intention behind that. That might show through a little bit of laziness, us not really want to do anything, or the ambition going down a little bit. Discipline might. So again, being aware of that energy, that way we can work with it and adjust and calibrate. August 12th, We do have Ceres enters Cancer. Again, more or less a similar energy, like I'm saying. August 12th is the new moon, a total solar eclipse in Leo. I will definitely be checking in for that, so I won't explore too much on that. But you can expect some intensity in the new moon. New moons are new cycle, new invitation. For years, when I was much longer, I wanted to get into. I was curious if there was a way. I used to think it was so sad how we were so disconnected with the moon, and I thought it was exciting, the whole doing your life in the following the moon cycle. Well, in a way, this universe inviting us to jump along and follow along and take a ride with it, right? Because we are part of the universe, and the moon, a new moon, is a new beginning, and it being in with a solar eclipse in Leo, it is a grand invitation. More on that later. And then we do have first quarter moon in Scorpio in August 19. The sun enters Virgo, starting the season of Virgo, the zodiac signs of the Virgo. It's the happy birthday seasons for all Virgos out there, but that's going to be in August 22nd. And then we do have Mercury enters a Virgo, because again, Mercury moves fast unless it's retrograding. So in August, we're going to experience Mercury both in Leo and also in Virgo, which is exciting. I again, Mercury rules Virgo. So this is exciting. I like Virgo. I really do like Virgo. So I'm excited about that. And then wrapping up the month with full moon, partial lunar eclipse in Pisces. The second people hear Pisces, people get all like stressed out. I think it's funny. Again, I'm not laughing at anybody. We're laughing at each other, okay? But I think it's amazing how we as a collective behave, and it's, I don't know, I think it's really funny and beautiful to me. So as you can see, compared to what we've experienced in the past few months, this is chill. Okay. So let's appreciate that energy. We also eventually want to learn to appreciate all the energies, also the intensity, even we're not there yet. We can appreciate that bit of a smoother selling. But I will tell you, solar eclipse are intense, but I feel like it's a different type of intensity compared to what we've experienced when all these signs were in Aries and all of the craziness that were happening in March. On that note, my love, the fun part is really seeing where do all of these energies fall in your chart. You could come and see me. I do have all of my links down below. We do astrological consultation and see exactly, make astrology come alive and see, make sense of what you're going through, the challenges you're going through, and we use astrology to help you navigate all these things. It's like I can't talk today. And also check out the link for my not wish list, my email list, the Sunday edit. I think it's such an exciting. I know I'm excited about being in touch with you through the list, because this is where I also share deeper zodiac horoscope type of forecast, and I break it down not in sun sign but in rising sign, because I do believe they're more accurate. And also I share mantra for the week and let you know the energy of the week ahead. I really do believe it's a great addition to your your life and helping you navigate and thrive, because here we're not just trying to survive, we want to thrive. That is the idea behind the podcast here. So that link is down below. No spam, never. I don't do spam. So on that note, my love, I will see you in the next one. Keep shining bright like a diamond. Bye.